Hey, 감사합니다. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite animes, and today I move over to my 10th anime that I've ever watched, and that is Tower of God, Kami no To, Sin a Tap, Shinji Ta, Sanji Ta, Torre de Dios. You get the idea. Sin Aitap is a Korean manhwa which became serialized as a webtoon. Or was it not a manhwa? Was it a. I forgot actually, but I think it was a manhwa which became serialized as a webtoon on the platform called Naver Webtoons, and it's created by SIU, aka Slave in Utero, which is the pen name of a Mr. Lee Jong Hui. And since I've never read any Korean manhwa or seen any animes adapted from Korean manhwas, I was very curious going into this. Though I'm a little underwhelmed that this anime isn't produced in South Korea with South Korean voice actors because that would be so much more genuine. But, anyways, first of all, before I talk about the story, we have the art style, which has this really raw watercolor quality to it, which makes it look very neat. And honestly, I kind of like it. However, the OP is for some reason this electropop song that just doesn't fit with the tone of the story at all. Essentially, Tower of God, or at least as shown in this season, is like Hunger Games but trickier. And it's I don't know why is the OP like that. You know, every time the episode starts and we get these wobbling synths, bam bam out, bam bam out, I'm like, not again. And the ED is this auto-tune pop song that's kind of forgettable. Eh. If there's another big thing I didn't like in this anime, that would be the placement of music. The music itself is fantastic. Apparently, it's made by Kevin Penkin, who's also the composer for Made in Abyss, and the music in this anime is fantastic. There are a lot of tracks that are really well composed, except the placement of music is just kind of a mess. There are many moments where the music just compromises the drama of the scene, like, when the main character is in a sticky, risky situation and silence would build the tension, then the electronic music comes up in the back. Like, what's going on? Anyways, let's talk about the story itself. On episode 1, we immediately start off without any backstory. We have Bam, whose name is changed to Yoru in the anime, because this is originally a Korean thing. Now it's changed to Japanese, so a lot of names are Japaneseized, I guess. I'm gonna call him Bam throughout this review, but I'm referring to Yoru, okay? Whose actual name is Bam. He likes this girl called Rachel. Yoru chased after Rachel, or Bam chased after Rachel in a big road, and then Rachel said she's going to climb the tower, and then she just disappeared. Also, the tower is basically like the Babel Tower because people climb it to become gods. Then Bam is like, why? And then he also disappeared. It's hard to root for any character when I don't even know their backstories or their personalities that well. We then have Bam at the entrance and he met head on, as well as this angry princess Yuri, and her assistant or something, and thus we have Bam's first test. If he wants to climb the tower, break a ball in the break a steel ball in the middle of a cage with an eel, with a white eel. And even though Bam looks like your average shonen cute boy who's not very buff, he aced the test. One of the characters even gave him a huge hint as if it's nothing. I don't know, but I think that's kind of BS. When you're doing a test, people shouldn't like give you hints because it's cheating, you know? All in all, I was kind of confused and uninterested in the first episode. We don't know anything about anyone, and I know we'll learn more as time goes by, but by not knowing anything, including the characters' lifestyles and maybe the reasons behind climbing the tower, I'm barely interested in how the story goes on because it just feels so superficial. But episodes 2 to 3 are definitely more entertaining. On episode 2, we have Hunger Games, where 400 people must fight to death until it goes down to 200. And there were all sorts of people: giant alligator man, lizard human, weird aliens, purple Bruce Lee, who looks really normal and is useless. It's odd. Then we meet Kun, who's a smart boy with a white suit. He looks like a doctor. His weapon is a friggin' suitcase. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna follow the rules. Instead of fighting, I'll just find allies and hide. Apparently, he's also somehow related to a royal princess who somehow failed some test, thus he's from an exiled family or something. We also have the backstory of Bam, who had an amnesia and woke up underground and got saved by Rahel, and Rahel basically raised him. That's why Bam sees Rahel as his owner or something. The next test features walking through a giant wall of water. Bam passed it immediately because he's already in front of the water before the test even began for some reason. And then we have people crossing it. And the secret to the test is not revealed, but I guess the key is to stay calm. Episode 3 is also entertaining as we have the red door test, where people are told to figure out which door in 12 doors is the right door under 10 minutes. And apparently it's a trick test. I like that these games and tests are more like mind games, like tricks, than it is physical. And then at the end we have the crown game, which is basically like capture the flag, where 2 teams, or actually like there could be more. They go head to head. Each team consists of 3 people. Both teams, every team needs to take the crown. If a team member wears a crown and fight the other team until they surrender, the team wins. And it's definitely interesting to see how Bam's team would fight. Episodes 4 to 5 also cover the crown game. It gets complicated and it has a lot of mind games and trickery to it, and it's kind of fun. Basically, the super strong team with the angry lizard girl, Anak, the sword guy, and purple Bruce Lee was winning. Then the angry lizard girl, Anak, got attracted by Bam's sword, whom he borrowed from Yuri, the princess of Jihad. Black March is the name of the sword, and Green April is the name of the whip that Anak has. A really cool sword name, Green April, by the way. Because of that, they were disqualified for the game. And instead, Bam's team went head to head with 3 or 4 other teams all at the same time. And this happened for 3 rounds. So their team is Bam, Kun, the smart boy, and Rak, the dumb but strong, tall alligator man. In each round, Kun used some cool tricks up his sleeves to defeat every other team, and it's really cool that Kun's weapon is basically a suitcase. And then we have the last round, and for some reason one of the teams is from another testing ground. This complicated matters, and Kun ran out of tricks, and then it's revealed that Yoru, or Bam, was actually a Shinsu, or wave user. Like Hamon users, now we have wave users. But at the end, none of the teams actually won because the crown was destroyed and they're all qualified to continue. Also, the jazzy fight scene was pretty fun. This is one of the few moments in the anime where music is used very, very appropriately. The jazz behind the fight sequence is just so smooth and relaxing. It's really cool. Episode 6 is a friggin' mess. And in a way, I kind of enjoy how messy it is. There are no battles, just a bunch of interactions, and I love character interactions. Purple Bruce Lee is my favorite character so far. He acts normal and he's very funny and relatable. Seeing them becoming friends after fighting each other is pretty awesome. And then afterwards, we have the slower bits of the episode, like the whole training thing, the training arc. Every shonen anime needs a training arc. Finally, after fighting for so long, they're beginning to train. But not all of them train at the same thing. People are separated into 5 groups: Fisher, Spear Bearer, Light Bearer, Scout, and Wave User. And then we also learned a bit more about Anak's backstory and how some other princesses of Jihad killed her parents, so now she wanted to take revenge and she pretended to be a princess, but she's actually not a princess. It's a good thing she's not the MC, because otherwise we're gonna get another boring revenge tale, but all in all, pretty forgettable of an episode. Over to episodes 7 to 9, which cover the tag test, where everyone's separated into 2 teams, and each team needs to play tag. Not against one another, but against a very powerful ranker. So the game actually has 2 rounds for each team, and there's also an it on each team. So basically, the it and the ranker would try to steal each other's it badges. Whoever has both the it badges wins. Yes, it's needlessly complicated, and it gets kind of awkward when we need to understand the rules of a game just for plot to happen, but still the plot of these 3 episodes are actually pretty good. Episode 7 has a bit more of the people hanging out scenes, Anak the lizard girl versus the prideful psycho girl and Dorsey. And then we have Ho, who's the guy with the long blonde hair and 1 red horn to the side of his head, was jealous of Bum for being so good at using waves, so he's like scheming against him. Then we have the tag game for Team A on episode 7 to 8, and Team A consists of people like Kun, Anak, Purple Bruce Lee, and the sleeping guy, and they were a really good team. Lots of cooperation and coordination, even though they were so damn close to failing. And at the end, we have a bit of a plot twist where Kun does something unexpected, and I like it. Episode 9 covers the tag game for Team B, which is just a fucking mess. All the teammates are either cowards who are willing to betray each other just to run away, or have ulterior motives and not even caring about winning. Oh, the horned guy tried to kill Rahel after learning that Rahel is Bomb's only hope. The sword guy Hats got betrayed, and then Dorsey started betraying others. The whole thing became one hot mess spiraling out of control, and at that point the ranker didn't even know what to do, which probably contributed to his failure. There's also a heightened sense of drama in this episode, and it's pretty entertaining. At last, we have the last 4 episodes, episodes 10 to 13, and honestly, it's not that good, but it still has its merits. Episode 10 is basically one very forgettable episode where we have some interesting character interactions, and that's it. It's also very obvious at this point that Rahel is hiding something from everyone else, so the plot twist on episode 12 wasn't as shocking as it could have been. Episodes 11 to 12 cover the final test of the season where they have to do this underwater hunt thing. It's unnecessarily complicated. Bum and Rahel are inside a bubble underwater, and there would be dolphins pushing the bubble up into a glob on the surface of the sea, which will spit the bubble out. If the bubble is out of the sea and both of them are alive, everyone passes the test. But the catch is that there would be all sorts of creatures and things trying to kill the dolphins, giant sandworms that are domesticated by goblins, and then we have underground pigs, and then there's this one scary one-eyed monster called the Bull, even though it doesn't look like one, and it's controlled by the Hash Brown guy, who's apparently a villain and who has been the instructor for the training class for the wave users in the last few episodes. Another thing that I find dumb is that there are these stupidly overpowered characters, and whenever they're fighting, they're just yawning like, and they're blasting waves from their left hand, and they're checking their right hand like, I need to trim my nails. It's cheesy, it's cliche, I don't want it. But episodes 12 to 13 also have a couple of memorable fights, like Yuri, one of the princesses, showed up and joined the fight against Hash Brown Man. And on episode 13, we are revealed a grander scheme of things where Rahel's true intentions are revealed, and then we have the magenta-haired girl who seemed to help Rahel, but also not. And that's pretty much just it. I saw that a lot of people hate Rahel's character, and I totally understand that, but honestly, I think Rahel's character has a lot of potential to be deeply layered if she goes through some sort of character arc. But her laughing psychotically is just kind of lame. It's like this sudden 180 turn as if she's not even showing a bit of remorse. Overall, Tower of God has its bright moments, and they usually are interesting fights as well as some interesting character interactions. But all in all, Season 1 is just lacking. It's not that bold nor that refreshing of a story, and the fact that it's not built up well makes it kinda superficial. There's a difference between a story which has detailed world building and then a story that just feels like a bedtime story someone would make up on the fly. I get that it's cool to leave some mystery in the beginning of the story, but there's simply nothing in the beginning of the story that validates its importance in this anime. Attack on Titan started off where we knew nothing about the Titans or the walls or the world, but still we see the towns and how the people work at in there and how people live their lives, so at least there's something to invest in. But I can't quite see that in this anime. However, I'll say that some characters have a lot of potential to be great, not Endorsi though. She had a 180 turn for some reason. I guess maybe it's because the anime cut away a lot of the scenes and the slower parts, but she just changed so suddenly. But characters like Rock, the alligator guy, Anak, the lizard girl, Shibisu, the purple Bruce Lee, and the guy with the 2 dots on his face, who's a ranker, there's some good characters. And even though it's a cliche story, at least it doesn't take itself too seriously for its own good. It has its fun, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, my favorite is episode 9, and my least favorite is either episode 1 or 10, but episode 1 is just probably the worst one here, because like nothing happens. I'm giving Tower of God season 1 a strong 6 to a light 7 out of 10. So, have you seen a Tower of God from 1 to 10? How much you rate it, like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Next anime, The Great Pretender, and then afterwards, Keep Your Hands Off Eizou Ken, and if I still have time, ID Invaded or Sing Yesterday to Me. Yeah, and that would be 2020. All anime reviews in 2020. Yay. I will not watch Attack on Titan until maybe in February 2021 because I want to binge watch them all at once. So, don't ask me to review like episode 1. I'm not going to just watch episode 1 and then wait for an entire week because that would be hell.